Okay, hello again. I want to do this video about incorporating your sources. Now, you should have been on Blackboard already to see what resources the library has available to you. Takes you through how to search their database system. Ideally, you also, by this point, understand the difference between academic sources, which are reliable sources written by academics, people who do research on your topic in a professional sense, and what's called peer-reviewed sources. Now, the peer-reviewed sources are very important for your researched essays. That's your claim of values essay, and then the final call for papers essays. Those peer-reviewed sources have a very specific definition. They have been reviewed by other professionals in the field and deemed worthy for publication in professional journals. Go on to Blackboard again, make sure you go through those library database systems. As well, there is a database that tells you how to tell whether the journal you're using is scholarly and peer-reviewed. Websites are rarely peer-reviewed, and so you want to be careful using web sources. Each of our primary research essays have a minimum number of peer-reviewed sources, and that will decrease your grade if you don't stick to that number. Okay, once you've selected your sources, you know they're going to apply well to your essay. You want to know how to incorporate them. How do you take the quotes, the statistics, the research that you've compiled, and add that into your essay without giving too much of your essay over to the research, to the experts, without using too much of their words and not enough of your words and your own assertions and opinions? For my class, I ask that you follow the ICE formula. ICE, just like it sounds, I-C-E. I for introducing your sources, C for your citations, and that's going to depend on your documentation style, and then E for explaining that source, that citation that you've used. So let's talk first about I. Now, I is going to stand for, as I said, introduction. That's something called a signal phrase. It's an announcement to your reader. I'm about to give you a source from a different place, and this is where it comes from. There's an entire sheet on Blackboard that talks about incorporating sources, and it gives you some key words, some verbs that you can use, some phrases that you can use for introducing those sources. The very simplest introduction might say something like, John Smith states, blah, 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 blah. In his essay on X, and then you would give the title of the essay, Professor John Smith states, or you may even give the title that the professor has, if he's an anthropologist perhaps. Then you would say, anthropologist John Smith states, and then incorporate your quote. Now, once you have that introduction, close quotations, you also want to cite your source. This is very important in researched essays and advanced compositions. You, if you're MLA, APA, Turabian style, Chicago manual style, APA, ASA, all of those are going to be based on your major disciplinary field. And what you do with those parenthetical citations are dependent on that documentation style. So again, introduce your source, introduce your quote, cite your quote. In your parenthetical citation, you're usually going to identify author. Occasionally, if you're APA specifically, you'll identify the date of publication and then your page number for direct quotes. The final format for incorporating your sources is going to be the E in the ICE formula. That's explain your source. Now that you've told your audience, here's where I got this source from. This is the author, this is the text, your introduction. You've given your quote, you've given your statistics, you've given your parenthetical citation so they can refer back to your works cited page. Then you want to tell them in your own words, why is that source important for what you've told them you were going to prove. So now you're in one of your body paragraphs and you're going to explain this is why that research is relevant. This is why it proves the topic that I told you I was going to prove with this body paragraph. First, you're going to introduce your sources. John Smith states. You want to make sure you include your parenthetical citation, author, date, page number, depending on your documentation style, and then you want to explain why that source is useful in your essay. Right? That's the ICE formula. Every single piece of source you incorporate in your essays needs to follow that formula, and that is what I will look for when I evaluate you. In addition, there are a few things I want you to know when putting sources into your paper. First, never begin a paragraph with a quotation. Never begin a paragraph with a reference. You always want the first sentence of all your paragraphs to be your own topic sentence in your words. Remember that we talked about topic sentences on another video. Similarly, you never want to end a paragraph with a quote or with a reference. You want to finish with your own words, linking that paragraph back to your thesis statement. So the first sentence and the last sentence of any body paragraph should always be yours. They are the most powerful positions of the paragraph, and you want to take control of those. You want to lead your reader into what you want to discuss, and you want to lead them out of what you want to discuss and into the next paragraph. And then equally, you want to make sure that your references are balanced. Now, I would say probably 2 or 3 quotations per paragraph is a good number. Any more than 3 and you've probably overquoted, you've over-relied on your research and not used enough of your own assertions and conclusions. Go into Blackboard. There's a full PowerPoint explaining the ICE formula, going over those. Take care to do these things and not do these things with body paragraphs. It gives you a number of examples in addition to talking about ellipses and brackets and block quotes and how to incorporate and format all of those. I will gauge you not only on the quality of your research, whether it's peer-reviewed, but whether you've correctly and seamlessly at an advanced level brought your sources and woven your sources through your text. Okay, thank you very much again for your time, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.